Marcus Eriksson back for year 2 in the NTT IndyCar Series. Good to see you, Marcus.
Good to see you.
You may have to turn on the mic.
How good is that? There.
It's a tricky button there.
Yeah.
Lots changed for you.
Yeah, I'm bright red now.
You might want to tone that down a little bit. A little bright, but your place in the sport certainly has a new viewpoint. How do you see it?
I'm super excited. It's obviously a great opportunity for me to be in a team like Chip Ganassi Racing, one of the best teams in the motorsport world in general, and obviously in IndyCar. And it's a team that always fights for wins and podiums on each weekend. So it's a big step up. Super excited about it. Super excited to work with Scott and Felix, who are two of the best drivers in the field, and with Scott and all his experience, it's gonna be great for me. So super excited about the season.
I don't know if I don't want to use the word intimidating because another driver did earlier about Scott, but is it a little bit intimidating working with Scott? You think it will be?
No, I don't see it that way. I think he's shown over and over again that he's one of the greatest drivers in IndyCar history, in my opinion. And I think for me to be teammate with a driver like that is something that's just going to help me and help me develop and become a better driver. And I'm going to try and learn as much as possible from him, and then of course try and beat him as well. But I think as a team, it's a perfect teammate to have. And I don't know Scott that well, but from what I know of him, he seems like a really good guy, and also sharing stuff and on race weekends. So I think as a teammate goes, I think it would be really good.
I don't remember a year ago having this discussion about your relationship with Felix over the years and how much you spent time with him, but describe where you two are as friends and now as colleagues.
Yeah, I mean, we have become more friends throughout last year. We obviously knew each other from when we were kids, but doing go-karts back home in Sweden. But then our careers went so different ways, so we didn't really hang out much for a long time. And obviously last year, with both of us living in Indy, we were hanging out quite a bit. And then now when we're teammates, it's gonna be even more. So yeah, we do hang out quite a bit, and our girlfriends, they both get along really well. So it's cool.
Questions? Mary?
It seems that at your team now, there's the Swedish connection because Joe Hansen is Scott's manager, and now you and Felix are on the team. So are you guys speaking Swedish from now on in?
Yeah, it's going to be the next, the new language of Chip Ganassi Racing is Swedish, so we need to change that all out. So I think we need to get everyone on Swedish lessons like Wednesday nights or something.
And what about the following in Sweden for you and Felix?
It's growing all the time, and I think especially this year now with both of us in one of the best teams, it's gonna be. I've already felt over the winter. There's been a lot of anticipation for this season that's coming up. A lot of media coverage about the build up to the season, and I can feel from my fan base that they're really excited about this season, especially seeing me and Felix as teammates as well. He's putting even more focus on us and the fight between the Swedes and all that. So I think for the interest back home in Sweden, it's really big. And I think we've seen here in America as well. There is a lot of people on social media and stuff from Sweden that's following and interacting with IndyCar and everything. So it's it's just growing all the time, and hopefully this year with both of us on the sharp end of the field, it's just going to help it even more.
Hi, Marcus. So, question for you. So you're going from Aeroschmidt, which is a great team, and now you're going to Chip Ganassi, which is a more successful team with better results. Are you feeling more confident, or do you feel more pressure going in to keep that momentum up?
Yeah, I think it's right, like you said. Aeroschmidt Eriksson is a younger team with less experience, and they're pushing really hard, and I'm sure they're gonna have a great season this year. But for me, it's definitely a step up to get to a team like Chip Ganassi Racing with all the experience, all the history they have, and you can really feel that when you start working with them. and it's definitely putting more pressure on you as a driver, but it also means that I know that on every weekend I will have a chance to win. You know, it's a team that always gives the drivers good cars, and they have a lot of experience, a lot of people in the team. So I really feel like it's going to help me raise my game. But for sure the pressure will go up, but that's, you know, something as a racing driver on this level, you need to be able to handle that pressure. So I'm not afraid of that. I'm just, you know, looking forward to it really.
Bruce?
Marcus, welcome back. The opportunity to learn from a guy like Scott Dixon has to also be something that makes this situation with you very attractive. What's it going to be like working with him and learning from him?
Yeah, I agree. It's really a great opportunity for me to work closely with a guy with Scott's experience, and I'm gonna try and, you know, see what I can learn in everything you do. Obviously, you're gonna look at his data, his driving and everything, but also the way he works with the engineers, the way he talks with all the people in the team, how he does it, how he explains things. I think all these small details, that's what makes it different from drivers being, you know, good to being great. And I think that's something I'm going to try and pick up as much as possible when I'm able to work so closely with a driver like Scott Dixon.
David Mosher in the back?
Have you had any simulated days? Have you been able to look at how your driving style works compared with Scott and Felix?
Yeah, we've had a few days in the simulator, and we do have a bit different driving styles and different ways of doing things, but I think in general, us three, we can really, like, we seem to still want the same kind of things from the cars, in the sim at least. I mean, we haven't been on the real track yet, but in the sim, we seem to, even though we drive a bit differently, we seem to always tend to go the same direction when we try different car setups. So that's obviously a promising sign. So hopefully if the weather is not too bad, the plan for the next 2 days of testing is to try and scan through different things between the three cars and try and learn as much as possible as a team. So yeah, I mean, that's the ideal world if the drivers can really like the same stuff in the car. So let's hope it goes that way. I'm not 100% sure yet, but it looks like it's promising so far.
Paul Kelly?
I finally got around to watching the Formula One Netflix documentary, Drive for Survive, and at the end, the episode with you knew you lost the ride, and you were kind of at a crossroads, like, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Here you are 18 months later driving for one of the big three teams in the series. Are you surprised at how well the journey has gone from that point to this point, and what caused you to just keep the faith knowing it was all going to work out?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I just, like I say, I just lost my F1 drive, and I wasn't really sure where my career would go. And I was clear to my management that I wanted to pursue opportunities in America and IndyCar, because there's always a series I was, you know, looking up to. I was following since I was a kid when Kenny was in the series and everything. So, yeah, I was pushing for it, and I was really happy when I got the deal together with the Aerosmith Peterson guys, and now to you know, get this opportunity with Chip Ganassi Racing is an amazing chance, and it's the first time in, I think, since 2013 that I actually drive for a top team, you know, and a proven winning team. So it's a great opportunity for me, and you know, I'm really excited. And like you said, you know, it was 18 months ago. I didn't know where my career would go, but I'm very happy where it's what direction it's taken.
Probably 2019 wasn't all that you dreamed it would be or could be. What was the big moment though? What were you, when you finished the season, you thought that was really cool, that went that way?
I think the biggest positive for me was the way I adapted to oval racing. I think that was some of my best performances was on the ovals. Didn't get the results maybe that I thought I had the speed for on the ovals, but I was on for some really good results. And just in general, the feeling when I was driving on the ovals was really good. I really enjoyed it, and you know, really liked racing on the ovals, and that was something that was really positive for me, because that means that, you know, this series is something that's I think suits me very well. And then obviously, if you look at results purely, the second place in Detroit was obviously my highlight. But also for me, you know, qualifying for the 500, I've qualified 14th for my first 500, and that was, I think a good achievement, and I only got one run because James had his crash, so we had to put half my car on his side. So there was quite a few highlights, but like you said, the overall results last year was not what I had hoped or expected, but I still felt like I learned a lot of things last year, and I'm planning on using that experience to good use this year.
Was a 500 everything you expected?
No, a lot more. It was, I think, I was coming into the year thinking that the 500 is going to be a big race, but, I've done Monaco GP, I've done Monza, and I've done all these like big races in Europe, and I thought that the 500 would probably be like one of these races, but for me it's not. It's something unique, and it's something very special that you cannot really find anywhere else in the motorsport world, so yeah, it was a very special feeling being part of it, and I can't wait to get back in the month of May and do it again.
Perfect. All of a sudden, hands everywhere. Les?
Welcome back to Austin. So this is your second year in IndyCar, first with Ganassi. That's quite a fast acceleration to get to Ganassi. What are you doing differently, and what are the things that you really have to pay attention to be there?
Yeah, so this winter break has been the longest ever in my life. It feels like usually in Europe the season goes on until like end of November, something like that. It's what I'm used to, and then you have like December off, and then you're on to the next season. And now the off season was so long, so it gave me time to sort of reflect and focus on improving myself. So I've been working really hard with my trainer on the physical side, but also even harder on the mental side. So I've been working a lot on that to prepare myself for this opportunity that I have now with Chip Ganassi Racing, to make sure that I'm the best version of myself. So I can use all the experience I've done last year and make sure that the mistakes I did last year will not happen again. So I've put a lot of time into that and really making sure I'm as prepared as I possibly can, because it feels like that with that short break I'm used to, you don't really have time. You just have time to sort of relax and take a breath, and then it's like the next season. Whereas now you actually had a couple of months to work on yourself a bit more. So I've tried to use the time to do that and make sure I'm a stronger and faster and better version of myself this year.
Last two, Bruce and David.
I know you're looking forward